G'day, my name's Ashley and I'm from the Tentworld online team. Today I'm going to give you a few tips on how to season your new cast iron campware and also just to keep it in some good nick, how to maintain it over the life of the products. So first of all, a lot of these products, the camp oven gear and the cast iron gear will come pre-seasoned already from the manufacturer. So that means essentially you can grab it straight out of the box and get stuck in and use it straight away. But I do suggest that you also give it a little bit of care straight up and season your products before that first use. So what we suggest is, first of all, it's always good to give your new products a bit of a wash. So all we do there is a bit of warm soapy water. Just get in there, give it a wash. That'll take off with a scour and so forth. That'll take off any residual coating that's been on there from the manufacturer or any dust or dirt that's been on there through before you get to use it for the first time. So some people will say just use warm water. Some people will say soapy water is fine. Personally, I use soapy water. The main thing is after you've washed it is give it a really good rinse down and a dry down. So one of the real issues with cast iron gear and rusting up is that what happens, rust's formed through a few things, iron, oxygen and water. So it's really important to make sure that we get all the excess water off there once we've finished washing it. So once you've given your new gear a good clean down, what we suggest is that you want to give it a coating with some oil before we get heating it up. So it's usually good to use a canola or a vegetable oil. The reason we suggest these oils is they've got a really high smoking point. So that means that when we get some really good heat into them, they won't smoke as much. You will still get some smoking, so make sure you're doing all this in a well ventilated area. But yeah, just get your oil, give it a nice wipe down, give all the surfaces a wipe down with your paper towel. Anything you're using, make sure it's all coated nice and generously, and then you want to get it into some heat. So a couple of ways you can do that, obviously on your campfire or in an oven at home, but one of the ways we suggest it's really easy to do it is at home. If you've got a hooded barbecue, they're really good, nice and easy to use, as well as gets nice heat all around the product. So make sure you get that heat up as high as you can. Pop it in the oven once it's oiled up, and you want to leave it there for about 45 minutes to an hour even, just to give it time to cook in and get us that nice non-stick surface that we're looking for on all these products to make it easy care going forward. So just remember also when using any of your cast iron cookware, they do get a lot of heat into them, so we do encourage you to think about your safety at all times. Make sure you invest in a good pair of leather gloves. That'll help you whilst handling some of the items. You can also get a number of different steel hooks that help lift the lids and so forth. So make sure you get out there, get all your safety gear intact, because that is very important. They can do some damage with the amount of heat that they store in there. So once it's been in the heat for a while, with that oil inside it there baking away to give us that non-stick coating that we're looking for, what you'll do is you'll take it off the heat. We want you to let it cool down a bit so you can work with it, but you still want a bit of warmth in there. So what you're going to do to finish off your seasoning process is get your oil again and your paper towel and make sure you coat it all as a final coating to stay sitting on top of the surface. You also want to do the outside of your products, so anything there that can come in contact with the oxygen is going to make sure that we want to protect that for our storage. So what you want to do is just make sure after every time you use it, you do give it a good clean out. Once again, as I said, either hot water, or some people do like to use a detergent. Main thing is making sure that it all gets rinsed off really thoroughly afterwards. Once you've cleaned it up, made sure it's really dry, then you want to be getting another layer of oil on it before you put it back into storage. So once again, always important, leaving your product with a thin layer of oil on there, just to stop that, protect that surface and stop any rusting that could occur there for you. If you are going to put your items into storage, especially these camp oven type pots, what you want to be doing is putting either a piece of paper towel or a bit of cardboard in between there for when you set it together. Just saves it being sealed up fully when it's in storage and keeping any moisture that's locked in there and creating any issues on the surface. So that's always a good tip, just some kind of little barrier in there to keep the circulation going. Outside of that, look, if you season your products first up really well, get that nice shiny black coat on there that we want to see, that non-stick coat. Keep doing it down the track. Make sure we're cleaning our products well after use, and your cast iron products will last a couple of lifetimes if you take good care of them. So if you do get into a situation where your cast iron gear or your camp oven does end up getting a little bit of surface rust on it, that's not too much of a problem, don't worry. There is, you can get that back to its close to its original condition. What we suggest is you get some water in there, you fill it right up, and you want to bring that to the boil, and you want to simmer it for a little bit of time, half an hour or so, and then take it off the heat, let it cool down so it's workable, and then you want to get in there with a stiff brush or a scour and really hit those rusty spots. Okay, you may have to do it a few times over. Keep filling up that water, bringing it to the boil, simmering it, cooling it back down and hitting it again, but eventually you'll end up knocking that rust off. Once you do get it looking good again, then we go back to step one, we give it a good season, and we get it back on track for a life of many happy meals. So that's it. That's how to care for your camp oven gear, your cast iron cookware. As you can see, there's plenty of options available, so lots of ways to make delicious meals while out at the campsite. If you need to know more about any of these products, please don't hesitate to get in touch with us here at Tentworld or online.